Last week, this is where I ended. I want to connect the dots. I said there are basically three kinds of people that, to start this series out, you need to know about. That everybody in their life has constituents. Constituents are not into you. They're into what you are into. They're into what you love. Constituents are people that come together for a cause. When you go to work, you need to understand something. If you work there and you think that they love you for you, you are going to be vastly disappointed. Y'all are constituents and you are working together for a common cause to create something that'll change the world, to do something, to accomplish something, to build something. You are all there because you are for a cause. Those relationships are usually seasonal. They're not usually permanent. And sometimes they only last as long as the cause. And once the cause has been won, triumphed, victorious, or completed, usually sometimes that relationship ends. I told you last week, don't go to work wanting emotional support and long-term friends. Why? That was not designed to give you that. And most of the times we get hurt, it's not really because the other person is a bad person. It's because we put some pressure on the relationship it was not designed to meet. And you're going to be the one that gets your heart broken, and you are going to be the one who always ends up disappointed when you put an expectation on a relationship God never designed it for. So a lot of what we blame on really, really bad people and really difficult people, could it be that God never brought them into your life to sustain the kind of weight you put on them? And then the relationship let you down. Why? Because your expectations were misplaced. A constituent is not into you. So when you go to work, don't think they're into you. They're into what you can bring to the table. If you don't believe they're into what you do, quit doing it. And you'll find out. Then you've got comrades. Comrades are the flip, opposite of a constituency. They are people who are against a certain thing. And they form and forge a relationship because they are against this. They are against cancer. They are against homelessness. They are against this. They are against that. And they may not even really like each other, but they like what they're against. And I told him, I said, sometimes I get amused even at countries that perennially don't even like each other, but they will form a relationship because there's somebody else that they don't like more. And so they're not into each other. They don't even like each other. But there is a cause out there, and they become comrades, and they are fighting a common enemy. And here again, those relationships are not usually permanent. They are usually temporary. But here's what everybody needs and everybody wants. It's not a constituent. It's not a comrade. It's a confidant. James 5:16 says, confess your faults. Confess your weaknesses one to another that you may be healed. There is something that ties the heart and the mouth together, because Jesus said, from the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. God don't want you to take your weaknesses and spread them all over the place through a microphone. He don't want you to get on a stage or announce it on the internet. That's not what he's saying. But everybody needs somebody in their life that their heart can ventilate by being able to get the toxins out, by being able to get the poison out. When you can't get the poison out of your system, then you internalize it, and that's many times what leads too many people to depression. Depression is when you never got a chance to talk. And people internalize it and deal with it and shut down emotionally. Why? Because the anger and the rage turns to being numb if it's never allowed to get out of the heart. So the mouth is where the heart releases its pressure. It's the pressure cooker. It's the valve that lets the steam out so that you don't burst on the inside and just lose it one day. Come on, somebody, I'm preaching. You see what I'm saying? So we need that confidant in our life, that they're able to handle the poison coming out of us without getting poisoned themselves. And although what I'm poisoned about goes in their ears, it never comes back out of their lips because they are a confidant and they can hear the weak places in my life, but still believe that I'm saved and still believe that I love God and still believe that God has a great purpose for my life. Would everybody like to have one or two of those in your life? Just wave at me, because whether you do or not, everybody needs them. You can't just confess faults to anybody. A confidant is there because they're into you and they care about you. And that relationship takes tenure, that relationship takes time, and it has to be qualified and it has to be watched. Remember, I said you'll know them by their fruit, and the fruit of the Spirit is. And I talked about we need to quit assessing people by personality traits and start looking at character. Because you don't tell someone your weaknesses because they have a great personality. You tell someone that because they're trustworthy and they're faithful and they're loyal. Come on, somebody, that they have these traits in their life. Are y'all all right? I need somebody past the 7th row just to wave at me and let me know you hear what I'm saying. Okay.